Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about some tips for growing your email list. Last month in July, I spent the entire month in a program with Growth Tools. And Growth Tools is a company online. They have lots of different free tools for you to use. And they're not paying me to do this video, I swear. But I paid them to be a part of their list building accelerator program. And with that, it was, I actually have to tell you about the program first. And then I swear I'm going to give you the tips for building your email list. But in that program, the way it worked was, first of all, you have to apply. And so I applied to be, considered, and I had to put down a $100 deposit. Now, if they didn't accept me, I would have gotten my $100 back. But since they did, then I paid the other $400, and then I was part of the group. And we had coaching calls 3 days a week, and we had all kinds of homework. And if you didn't do your homework, so here was the thing, is it was also an accountability group. And if you didn't do your homework, the first week you didn't do your homework, they charged you an extra $100 and gave it away to charity. So think about that. If you have to pay an extra $100, and think about if it went to a charity that you absolutely hated. Well, if you didn't do your homework a second time, then you got kicked out of the program. So there's a lot of incentive to be involved and to be engaged and really work with everyone to really, that's what you signed up for, right? So let me tell you about the tasks that we did in the program, and these are tips that I'll be using moving forward. So in the first week, in week 1, the very first task was to reach out to our friends and family. Now, I first balked at this because I said, well, why would I do that? Those people aren't my customers. They're my friends. I'm not trying to sell anything to them. And they said, you know what? Do it anyway. Because even though our friends and family aren't people we may want to sell to for whatever reason, like the things that I sell just aren't applicable to a lot of people. But, at least if they're aware of what we're doing, they might refer us to someone else. And plus, it's a good way just to be engaged with our audience and stay involved with our friends and family. And so that was a task that I took on, and I hit LinkedIn. I first of all brought out my phone, and I started texting everybody I'd texted in the last 2 months and asked for their email address, asked if they'd like to be on my list. Then I went over to LinkedIn, and all over 500 of my contacts over there individually sent them messages asking them to be on my email list, and got a lot of response from that. So that's what you want to do if you want to spend 1 week doing that. And that first week, reach out to 100 of your friends and family and invite them to be on your list. That's the very first thing. Now in week 2, they actually did this for us, but we created a lead magnet, where you've got a downloadable something, hey, just put in your email address to download this checklist. Well, actually being part of the Growth Tools program, they actually did one for me, and I only had slight editing to do, and I got that all set up. And that was a great asset, because then the next thing I did is I didn't just put it on my website. And in fact, everything I'm talking about here, you wouldn't necessarily have to have a website yet if you want to start with an email list. And instead, what they said is go ahead and go to Facebook groups that this applies to. In my case, it was a resource guide for race car drivers. And so I went to many of the groups that I'm a member of, and I said, hey, I've got this new resource if you'd like to download it. And that was a really successful way of adding a lot more people to my email list. And that's what I did in week 2. And in fact, if you want to see how we did those lead magnets, I have another video where I go through, it's a tutorial showing you the Attract.io software, and I'll link that up in the cards so you can go over there. I'll link in the description as well. So the next thing we did in week 3, we finally decided we're going to actually send our very first email out to our list. And with that, when we're communicating and saying hi to everyone, we also gathered resources from the other people that were in our group. So, I was part of this whole coaching group, but you may know another entrepreneur who has a downloadable checklist or a guide or an ebook or something like that. So by partnering up with them, that way it also, when you send out that email, it doesn't feel selfish. Like I'm just giving you my stuff and that's just it. By being willing to share the things that others provide, we can also, especially if they end up sharing your stuff, then we can really expand our lists into a much larger group. Now keep in mind, in week 3, we're still reaching out to friends and family, and we're still posting to Facebook groups with our lead magnet. And in week 4, we continue to do the same. And this has been a very successful project for me. I know I doubled my list, and I'm excited about that. It just means that I can reach more people and talk with more people. So I hope these tips have helped. I think it's a little different than what I've seen with other list building kind of tips and activities. And it's a lot more active than just sitting around and putting up this lead magnet on your website and just hoping people click on it. There's a far more active way of engaging with an audience. So if you find this helpful, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely check out that Attract video if you want to make your own lead magnet. And I will look forward to seeing you in another video.